What's up, everybody? It's your girl Bella. We're back with another episode of Cheaper Than Therapy. As you can see, today I'm on a couch by myself. We're going to catch up on me and what's going on in my life, the things that I need to get off my chest, because this is my therapy couch, okay? So as you guys know, I always say I'm not a licensed therapist, but I am opinionated and judgmental. So let's get into me. Y'all know how this starts. What is something good with me that has happened in the last week? And I will say the good thing that has happened to me in the last week is that I have fundraised in total for my pageant so far, $860. So that's an amazing number. However, if you guys knew how expensive this is, and that's why when you do pageants and when you do anything that involves fundraising, you have to make sure that you really care about your why, because I have fundraised $860. However, what I've spent on my gown, opening number shoes, opening number dress, clothing that we have to wear for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The pageant, not sponsor, but the gentleman that runs the pageant, Daryl is like, you will be information, you will not embarrass me, and we are going to have it together. And he is running a very tight ship. And baby, when I tell you that I am excited for this, okay, we're about, let's see, as of today, we're about 16, 17 days away. We're about 16, 17 days out from who will be the next Miss Black Maryland USA. And that is exciting to me. I've never done this before, never done a pageant before. I might have covered this a little bit, but I was scrolling on Instagram and it was like Miss Black Maryland USA, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. And you have to actually pay to interview. They say yes or no. And then, you know, it is a tedious background check of who you are and what you're about and what you do, and can you represent this organization in a great way if you were to win this crown. So the good thing for me is I have raised $860 and I am happy about that. So we're gonna clap it up for everybody who has donated. But I will say, yesterday I had to call out the men because it has just been the ladies that have been supporting me as far as liking stuff on social media, congratulating me for doing stuff. I won't say, so men did help with the social media competition, and outside of that, there has been no monetary donations from men until I called them out. And so I am going to give a special shout out to the 3 men. It's still only been 3, and that's okay because they have contributed towards this $860. We have the first person that sent me something after I was like, there's no men that sent me anything, is Dion Johnson. I want to say thank you, D, for sending me some money. The second person was Killer Cal. Thank you for sending me what you sent me. And the other gentleman is DJ Renaissance. And I really appreciate the 3 of you gentlemen coming together, not even knowing, you know, what each other sent or talking to each other, because it was all at different times of the day, coming together and supporting me in my endeavor of trying to become Miss Black Maryland USA. And I am just, you know, elated with the support that I do have. I'm so happy people are buying tickets. I'm so happy people are supporting me. And this is just something else that I set out to do. And I'm happy that I set out to do it. And I am going to win. Like, I'm gonna win. In my division, There's 3 other ladies, I've got content coming up for that. We're going to do a whole rollout on Instagram because that's where everybody is. And I'm just truly excited about what's to come in the next few weeks. Okay. That's about 3 weeks that we've got to get our choreography together, our walk together, our smile together. As you notice, I've been smiling the entire time. I do have a coach. I'm not going to say who my coach is yet, but I will say that my coach is like, you have to smile, and you have to smile all the time. Look at yourself when you smile and when you don't smile, and how your body language changes and how you carry yourself. And so I say that to say y'all have to smile in everything that you do. Okay, so let's get into some stuff that's really, oh my goodness, let's get into some stuff. Let's get into some mess. Let's talk. So I'm going to talk about running for Miss Black Maryland USA. At the same time, I am trying to accomplish my personal goals, which is obviously, right, having a vlog show. I call it a vlog show because I won't always be on the couch. I'm going to take you guys out, when I start traveling again, or yeah. And y'all will be a part of that. I had to take down a lot of my old content because of how I was dressed and or the language that was in the videos. And when I say how I was dressed, I always love a little something see-through. And so that just doesn't align with being a pageant queen. And I had to archive a lot of my content because of that. And then also language. And it wasn't always from me. It may have been someone in my video that may have said something. And it's just what you put out there is how, obviously, right, people will perceive you. And so I am basically starting my content over from zero, because I truly believe in being in myself. And not that I had horrible content, not that I had such explicit content. It's, does it align with being a queen, holding a title, and being able to represent, again, this organization in the highest manner, in the highest form, So that's been difficult for me because, guys, I'm going to be honest, I'm a cusser. I am a cusser. And having to learn how to use different words, learning how to censor myself has been a bit challenging, and making sure that I am truly authentic to myself as I continue this journey has been kind of like something that I had to learn how to balance. You sit here and you say, well, you want to do your vlog, you want to do media, you want to host, you want to moderate, right? Because that's truly what I want to do. And you have to start all over. So applying to all of these jobs, they're like, well, what do you have? I have nothing. I have nothing right now, because if I submit any of my content, basically they can use it. And I can't submit that content because, again, it circles back to what? Not aligning with being a queen. And I am, working through that. And that's why we're on the couch today by ourselves, y'all. I have some good interviews coming up, and you're going to be really excited about who you see sitting on the couch. Like, you always have to keep one in the chamber. Always have to keep one in the chamber. And I was teeter-tottering on if I was just going to release it or if you guys were going to see me. And I was like, you know what? I put out 3 amazing interviews back to back to back for 3 weeks straight. I had people sitting on the couch, and I know it's like, well, who are these people? I don't know these people. These are people that, the people that have been on my couch are people that are in my circle, people that I know, right? That have done influential things in my community. These are people that actually have followings. And I was watching this show, and it's on Netflix, and it's called Influencer, and it's about influencers over, in I want to say South Korea. And baby, when I tell you, they bought the best of the best. One person had like 1 million followers. One person had 11 million followers, and it is just I started watching it, and I said, you know what? Let me get some tips from these people, because how do you even get to 11 million followers? And I'm struggling with my 250 some odd followers on YouTube, my 1,200 followers on Instagram, and TikTok. I have about a good 5,500. Like, it reduced. I had to switch some stuff up. So as I started putting, archiving content and rearranging my page, followers started to drop off. So I almost had 7,000 at one point. I was at like 6,600, and so now I'm at like 5,500, and that's okay. So if it has to reduce to what it is for me to continue to grow in different ways, then that's just what it is. But imagine having the 11 million followers. Imagine having for me, like I said, I wanted to reach 5,000 followers on all of my platforms by December. So that was the ones that I care about. So I have the 5,000 on TikTok. I am nowhere near 5,000 on YouTube. And I have, like I said, 1,200 on Instagram. And that was my goal, to have 5 across the board. So I have in total 15,000. The hard part for me has been finding a niche that people want, because I hate being in a box. I'm a Sagittarius. I like my freedom. I like to fly. I like to go where I want to go, do what I want to do every time. And what I have learned is that the people that don't create content want you to be in a box. They want a niche. They want to say, I want to go to Bella to see A, B, or C. It's not even necessarily, that you don't want to see my life, but I have to prove to you that you even want to see my life. Child, it's a lot, okay? It's a lot. But we're going to move on from that, because I know you're like, girl, you complaining about this, you talking about this, but that's really a part of the life of a growing social media personality. And I say social media because that's where I am. I'm on social media. I am not a journalist. In the collegiate term, right? I didn't go to school for journalism, but I am great at what I do as far as being on this side of the camera, showing up, looking nice, looking presentable, having a great personality, and just being able to captivate an audience. Now it's up to you guys to help me grow my numbers and share my content, and just support me in every way that you can. I will say this, I am still literally up until the day of competition, which is November 10th, accepting donations for my pageant. My platform is death education and, grief. And I am going to help people learn how to grieve properly. All right. I'm in the process of actually securing a building, and I'll do the rollout of everything else that comes with it as it comes. Like, I am truly passionate about helping people grieve, because Americans do not know how to grieve, especially being in a society that we see, that is told to us statistically, a majority of Caucasians, they don't grieve the same way as people in other cultures, I'll say. So, when I went to Accra, they grieve different. Their funerals are 30 days. They don't give someone that they love, that lives 50, 60, 70 years, 4 hours like Americans do. It's 30 days. They have big billboards, big posters up to say, this particular person passed away, and you come visit them because they had an amazing life, And I am trying to get my people, Black Americans, to learn how to process the grief and realize that it's okay to grieve, but we have to grieve in a healthy way. Because a lot of the ways that we grieve are unhealthy, addictive, addictive, addictive grieving coping mechanisms, and it's unhealthy. And I say that because, we'll just take Gangsta Boo, for instance. Someone died. She died a couple days later, like not even a couple days. I want to say almost 24 hours later, because she was partaking, in illegal substances, and she OD'd. What a horrible way for my girl, rest in peace, for her to go out. Like, nobody was ever expecting that. But grief will take you to a very dark place. And I'm trying to make sure that my people, you'll see a gray place, not completely black, right? Because I can't stop anybody from spiraling, but I can help you in the ways, that you spiral. But we can move on to something that I said on Threads. Now, I've been trying to use Threads to get into different creator spaces and influencers' minds and see what's going on over there. It's a totally weird space. There's a lot of liars over there. But I do want to go to one of my posts that I made. And this was coming from a person who, like I said, I stopped for 2 years. So being out of the loop of who's who, being out of the loop of where you go, PR agencies and this and that, it's hard getting back into it for me. I am from Maryland. I do my content in Maryland, okay? So a lot of the events that I have attended over the summer and early fall have been through Washington, D.C. Now, we're neighbors, we're cousins, okay? But it's not technically the same, because let's just say when I win my crown, I am representing I'm representing Maryland, the town of Upper Marlboro. But how will DC accept me to say, oh, we have Miss Maryland here doing X, Y, and Z? They'll be like, well, why aren't you doing the things in Maryland? Maryland, what I have noticed, does not have the same creatives spaces. Shout out to Mario Bowser for this one, because what she did with 202 Creates is totally amazing. And this ties into what I was saying about my thread. And what happens here is you don't have the same creative hub in Washington, D.C., in this metropolitan area, that you have in LA, that you have in New York, that you have in Miami, that you now, right, that I'm seeing it everywhere heavily, that you now have in Houston, that you have in Atlanta. We don't have it in Washington, D.C. So I'm going to, read to you what I wrote. And then I'm going to read you some of the nasty comments that I got. So basically, not even basically, I stated, with Washington, D.C. being the nation's capital, why are there hardly any big agencies and opportunities here for media or influencers? Am I not in the correct hub of influencers? And how do I get invited to big name events in the area? Okay, so someone came on my page and was like, well, it's a small town, anyone can get invites. So let's start there. What I have noticed that I've gotten a lot of invites to, right, is foodie events. Come eat, come do this. Baby, when I tell you I'm trying to get smaller, not bigger, I have noticed that there's a lot of people that eat their way, around town, not even just Washington, D.C., nationwide. When you see the people on TikTok, they don't exercise with it, and you see them gradually get bigger over the years. I'm not interested in being a food blogger. I'm not interested in going out, and the event is, a right now it's Halloween, so they're calling it like booze cruise, like booze cruise, because to be scary. Like, I am not looking for that. I'm looking, can I get into real fashion shows? Can I get into someone's studio to say, oh, this is how the lighting works, the camera works. Invite me to be your host. Invite me to be your moderator, right? And that's what I'm looking for. But all these other cities have a lot of these opportunities. Now, it might just be me, right? I don't want to host clubs. I don't want to host parties. I like panels, like you see how I do this here. I want to be able to sit, talk, understand what people are saying, moderate. So someone said, oh, you need an agency to make beneficial content. You don't need an agency to make beneficial content. However, agencies help. Agencies stop the scamming. Agencies make sure, for the most part, that they're negotiating for you. So again, you're getting paid fairly, right? So let's go on. Someone has said, may depend on what sort of brands or companies you're looking for. DC is big tech, government contracting, and government led, and it may not be seeking influencers because it doesn't equally benefit them. And someone goes, our influencers are intellectual, nerdy type people who are commenters on the media, write books, invent patents, set policy, service public speakers, etc. What does that have to do with what I said? I am from Maryland, from Prince George's County, Maryland, baby. I'm from Upper Marlboro. I know that we are a government sect. That's why I stay here. I know we do, the political, the tech. I know we are heavy into media. And so again, what does you telling me what type of area that we're in have to do with us having a lack of something? What I'm saying is that we need it more for, this particular area. This is what happens when I record during the day. And this is why sometimes I record at night, but that's neither here nor there. This is a very political and transactional city, and people were just really mean. Hold on. And I'm going to get back to something somebody really said, really nice to me. Again, it's for government jobs, military, There's some people saying, no, seriously, like, we need this. They get what I'm saying because they're in the space that I'm in and they understand what I'm saying. So someone's like, it's a lot of opportunities. I had to decline invites because it's overwhelming. So again, I'm asking, my hand is out. Hey, my hand is up. Hey, where can I get into these spaces? How can I get into these spaces? And people are like, oh, well, I'm declining invites. Baby, you're not helping me. Oh, this is a tech place. Baby, again, you're not helping me, right? So this is my complaint. This is why we're on the couch this week, because I constantly ask for help. I am not embarrassed to ask for help. When I was looking for a job for a very long time, I asked for help. People would say, oh, my agency's hiring this or that. And I'm like, okay, what's up? What's up with it? And there's been so many times, and nobody owes me anything. This is just me talking because this is my experience. I was just left on red. There was a time where I talked about this before, where I asked someone to help, to let me work with them. And they said, oh, well, do you have experience in very easy job that it's the same thing every day, right? And I was like, no, but I can do it. Like, I'm not a dummy. They're like, oh, no, well, if you don't have experience, I can't hire you. I'll be honest. It was leasing. But I also remember this same person stating, wow, when they first got their job, right? I got an opportunity. I didn't have any experience. Someone said, okay, I'm going to hire you. And they trained me. And that's all a lot of people need in certain jobs, like across the board, baby. A lot of these jobs, without it being, technical, or when I say technical, doctors or mechanics or something, even a mechanic, honestly, you could teach someone how to do the job, but There are certain jobs where you can just teach them. A leasing agent, baby. We're going to keep reading because I can get into that, but we're not going to get into that. Someone says that they get invited to events, but it's like the day before and they just can't do it. And I'm looking for this one. This man was so rude and so nasty and so rude to me. I wanted to read it to you. Yeah, because it was just like, why would you say that to me? Someone also said influencers live where it's cheap to live. Baby, this is how I know you're just commenting on my stuff just to be commenting, because influencers are getting a bag, okay? Influencers live where it's cheap to live because influencers, on average, don't make very much. They live where the tax law is more favorable. Lots in Atlanta, Houston. I'm barely an influencer, but I get invited to things occasionally just by cold calling or paying for a ticket previous years. Ma'am, but I really want to read. I'm really looking for, I should have screenshot it before I was ready. Before we got on here, but it was just so nasty, such a nasty comment. And they were like, we don't want video vixens and this here. And it was disgusting. I had a lot of negative people on here. But so someone says to me, this was the best comment to me. And it says, if you ask me, the space is up for grabs right now in the DC area. You're better off creating your own motion, staying consistent, cut no corners, and building your own home base. Eventually, people will catch on from there. And that's why I'm sticking to every Thursday. That's why I sit in front of this camera. Excuse me, I do my face. I look presentable. I sit in front of this camera and I record. If I did not say I'm going to do this every Thursday, the type of person I am, who knows when this would come out. But I want to make sure that I'm putting out content, right, that is consistent, of quality, and eventually, that has the range. So when I do gain more followers, that the content can be watched. It's not like a timepiece, right? It is not necessarily. Now, me mentioning me doing a pageant is timepiecey, but not necessarily this particular video, because this particular video can go on. It can be watched a year from now for a creator that's in a different space saying, hey, we deserve to have, a nice hub here too, because of all of the things that go on. And I think people didn't want to understand, purposely being obtuse to what I was saying. There's this gentleman that's in LA. He always has opportunities for people to host podcasts, to do red carpet interviews. And I understand that, but I'm also saying, what is stopping Washington, D.C.? What is stopping, the Maryland area down there from having the same hub, from having the same media opportunities, right, in this area? And that was my qualm. That was my complaint. And I just don't like how people are rude for no reason. It was I had over 5,000 views on that thread. Over 5,000 views on my just topic. And you know what? There were some nice ladies that came in there and they say, hey, I'm going to DM you on Instagram. Go check this out. There was one lady on there. She was like, go follow this person and go follow these things and see what it is. And again, yes, it's DC. Yes, it's DC, but it's also like, very whitewashed. And there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes when you want to be in a creative space, it's like, okay, what can I do? You want to be in a creative space where you're comfortable. That's the purpose of getting your own camera, having your own lights, having your own mics, being in spaces where you're comfortable. You don't want to go from working a job, right, where you have to watch what you say, not be authentic, to being in a creative space where you can't be authentic, because that defeats the purpose of being a creative. If we're being really real. If we're being really real, like, that really defeats the purpose. And I'm not saying that they don't have motion, and I'm not saying that I'm not going to go to some of the events that I was introduced to. But I still said what I said. And there should be times when the Grammys are here. There should be times when other BET awards can be here. There are times when, you know, these other major events can be hosted here. Because just as much as artists are on the West Coast, they're on the East Coast as well. DC is a wonderful place. When you look at it, I love being from this area. I love being from the Washington metropolitan area, and there's no place like it. However, there's a lane that I'm going to have to create for us. And I wasn't necessarily trying to create this lane, but it seems as though I'm going to have to take over something, right? Okay, so that's my rant on social media and not having, you know, when I'm reaching up for somebody to say, oh, hey, we could do X, Y, and Z, or I'm reaching out to say, help me, because I don't want to eat my way around town. And, you know, yeah, because if I just keep going, I'll be repeating myself. So that's how I feel about that. We're not even going to get into the men in the industry, because that's a totally different conversation, and it has nothing to do with the overall idea and concept of which I was talking about, as far as being a DC being a creative hub where we have major events here outside of our sporting events, right? So if anybody is seeing this at any point in time and you want to help launch something, or you want me to work with you, let me know. I am a part of this group on TikTok. It's a very good group on TikTok, but they're actually based out of Orlando. So when they have events, I would actually have the events, because I'm in this, I applied, right? And it's a good way to get attention and see things. But again, they're in Orlando. So whenever they have something, I'm going to have to catch a flight to Orlando. And what I'm saying is, we need something in DC. I'm going to have to figure something out. We're going to have to figure something out. If you have some ideas, if you have some connections, I'm going to have to make something happen. I'm going to have to make something shake here, because there's no reason why we can't have the same opportunities that other major cities have. And that's all I was saying. I didn't need the negative Ned, the negative Nancy, and the slide remarks, right? Child, please. We can move on. I do have a screenshot of my next topic, and so I'm just going to pull that up really quickly while I move on. But I do know the synopsis of what I was going to say is, there was somebody that came online the other day, and they basically said, here's the situation. A very close male friend has gone with his girl for 7 years. They've got a child together and own a home. He refuses to propose. And she keeps reaching out to us, his friends, looking for answers. I keep spinning her and saying, girl, you just got to do what makes you happy. Don't listen to anyone else, and don't succumb to societal pressures. Do what works for y'all. She said, I've been saying this for 2 years. Now, she did go on. This couple was not on the social media site that she put it on. She did tell the woman that she posted about it, so it wasn't sent by anybody else. And there were so many women, oh my goodness, there were so many women saying, well, you're not a good friend, I wouldn't be his friend, and why would you put their business out there? First of all, it was okay to be put on social media. That was followed up through, you know, screenshots and stuff like that. And I just want to say this. I made a comment and I said, hey, I hate when I have to agree with men, right? However, if you want to get married and a gentleman doesn't want to get married and you still choose to procreate with, move in with, play house with, you have to be prepared to never be married because he let you know he doesn't want to be married. So women were online saying that, you know, this original poster, the OG poster, was just, you know, not a girl's girl, not a good friend, not a good, you know, third party friend or whatever, for never telling her that he's not going to marry her. So I made the comment and I was just like, y'all, he already expressed that he didn't want to get married. You know how they always say, why buy a cow when you're already getting the milk for free? But it's not always that. Sometimes men just don't want to get married and they say, well, everything's going good. What do we need to get married for? I have my own opinions about marriage and why I wouldn't be living with a man for 7 years and not getting what I want. And I just, first of all, if I know I want to get married, which I do, I'm not going to date and have a baby with and move in with a gentleman that says he doesn't want to get married. That's like setting myself up for failure. And so basically what I said is that when women are in these situations, they have to choose themselves. A lot of the stuff that I talk about when I'm on social media is choosing yourself, loving yourself. You have to have self-confidence. You have to love yourself first. Before your child, before your man, before whoever. You have to love, before your mom, before whoever, you have to love yourself first. If you can't love yourself first, you're not going to have anything to pour into anybody else. If you don't love yourself first, you wind up being in a situation that's being talked about on social media where you're with someone for 7 years, okay? Not getting what you want. You're not getting fulfilled. If marriage is something that you know that's going to fulfill you, like some women feel as though motherhood is going to fulfill them. Some women feel as though they don't need motherhood to be fulfilled, right? And if you know that you want something out of a relationship, if you know you want something as far as a title, and whatever title that is, and you're not getting it, you have to love yourself enough to be strong enough to walk away. I also stated that a lot of people stay in misery for the sake of. I stayed for the sake of the child. I stayed for the sake of whatever the sake of is. That's what a lot of people say. A lot of people say, oh, well, you know, I thought they would change. And I joke, and this is not a word, and I joke and I say there's no such thing as potential. They've fully potented where they are. That's it. When you meet somebody, although they may have their own goals, you say, you know, what are your goals? Where do you see yourself in 1, 3, 5, 10 years? And they can say whatever they want to say. Until they act on that, there's no such thing as technically potential. It's something that they might want to do, but they might fall into a depression. They might fall into comfortability and not continue to act on their own, you know, dreams. And you have to be comfortable with that partner where they are, where you meet them. Because what if they don't do anything past where you meet them? Are you okay with that? Are you going to be happy with that? Is it everything that you currently want? And that's where we have to see people. We can't see people for the future. I saw something, or I heard someone say, potential is not a real thing. Potential is what we would do if we were in their situation. And I think that's very true. Potential is what we would do if we were in that situation. And it's like, oh, well, he has a box truck, so he could do this, do this, do this, and get a fleet. That's what you would do if you were in that situation. But if he's okay with his one little box truck, are you okay with him only having one box truck? Are you okay with him not having the dreams that you have for his business? Are you okay with him not expanding, not growing, not bringing in more money? You have to be okay with where they are today. And if you're not okay with that, then you have to move forward. You have to move on. So many people don't want to move on, don't want to move forward for the sake of being single again, starting all over again. Let's talk about it. I don't want to say I'm newly single, but baby, let's be real. I was single the entire time because I was single the entire time, right? There were no titles in my last situation. There was no titles. I ain't even gonna say situation. There were no titles in my last dating adventure, or the person that I was dating. There were no titles. So, but it was, semi-exclusive. I don't know, right? And so when you go from dating someone, consistently dating someone, to being single, right? Not having anybody else, not having a roster, and then wanting to maintain your boundaries, wanting to make sure that the next person that comes into your life meets, checks, if not surpasses your minimum requirements, your minimum boundaries, right? It gets lonely. And I say all of that to say, because I'm here right now, I get it. And it's lonely, but it's peaceful. So when I say this, like, I might be, how does that saying go? Like, I might not be alone, but sometimes you could get lonely. Is that what I'm trying to say? Basically, once you realize that you don't want to deal with so much crap, the first sign of crap, you pull away. And with that comes solitude. And with that, again, comes peace. And when you put yourself first, and you say, and I know this is going to sound crazy because of my age. However, living where I live, it's crazy. Living where I live in a metropolitan area where there's so much public transportation, a lot of men don't drive. A lot of men don't have cars. City men. And I've noticed that, like, after I stopped dating the last person that I was dating, I ran across a few people and they did not have cars. They don't know how to drive. And for me, that's an absolutely no. I live in Maryland. We have to drive everywhere in Maryland, right? Like, so I plan on moving back to a county soon, and you can't not have a car. You can't not know how to drive. And as simple as me saying, oh, the next person that I deal with has to drive. The next person that I deal with has to have their own car. The next person that I deal with has to have, this or that or whatever it is at minimum. It starts to eliminate people. So even if we go on further, the next person that I date has to have been at their, job for whatever. Let's look for the longevity. Let's look for the retirement plans. Let's look for different stability factors, right? And let's play off of that. People switch jobs all the time, right? People switch jobs all the time. But how long were you there? Are you a job jumper? Are you, dealing with people, you have to deal with everything that comes with them, right? And sometimes you're not thinking about it because someone is so attractive. Like, do you have seasonal depression? Are you on, meds? Are you bipolar? Like, these are questions that you have to ask people before you move forward. Because sometimes people, one, are not honest. Two, they don't disclose. Three, you just sometimes... And not to say that people this is absolutely me not saying that, because this would be very cold and whatever the word I'm looking for. Y'all have to remember that I had a coma. So sometimes my mind just goes, I have a coma. I was in a coma and I have short-term memory. And sometimes my mind just goes blank. But you have to sit there and you have to truly, think about if you want to deal with someone that has a severe, I'll say, mental illness. Is it fair to you? How many times a week do they go to therapy? Have they ever been to therapy, right? Have they ever been committed to an institution where they had to have them grippy socks? Baby, like all of these things matter. And what I'm learning is that you have to ask the questions. And sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes you can make it come out as a joke. Sometimes, you don't find out till a little bit later, because people are good at masking who they are. They're good at hiding who they are. They're good at fighting their demons. They're good at fighting their demons. And that's it, masking. They're good at masking. And you have to be careful. And you have to make sure that you can go back to loving yourself first to be able to pull away from a situation that is not healthy for you or for them. I want people to understand that relationships used to last a very long time because women, for whatever reason, didn't have rights. We know the reasons, but for whatever reason, women didn't have rights. We couldn't have bank accounts. We couldn't vote. We're still to this day fighting Roe v. Wade in 2024, where we shouldn't even have this problem. We know why we have this problem. We could get political on another episode. And because women didn't have rights, they had to stay with the men that they didn't like, that abused them, that cheated on them, that whatever negative connotation, whatever negative thing. But women of all demographics have been going to school, buying their own houses, and making a life for themselves first. And this is scaring the men. The men don't know what to do. They're everywhere. Oh, you're going to be an old cat woman. Okay. Oh, you're not having kids. Who's going to take care of you? Da, 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 da. And that's what men see women as caretakers. And so you have to be very careful about the situation that you're getting into, because at any point, like statistics show, right, that I'm going to get to my point in 1 second, that men leave at an alarming rate when women get sick. That men don't know how to handle it. That men just, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. I say all of that to say it's okay not to have someone that you spend forever with. And I'm not saying that to say don't get married. It's okay if your marriage only lasts 5 or 10 years. It's okay. It's okay to have short stints of love and relationships, because no one owns anyone. And to have this, you can have your fairy tale marriage, you can have your family, you can have everything that you wanted, but you have to realize that you have to respect yourself. Going back to what again? Loving yourself enough to end a relationship when it no longer serves you. When you are no longer happy, when you are aging more rapidly than you are laughing and enjoying life, you have to know when to put a hard stop to it and end it. You have to know how to be by yourself. You have to be comfortable in silence. And a lot of people are not comfortable in silence. It all goes back to loving yourself. I know that was a lot. And it's like, girl, what are you talking about? But this episode, you know, I took this Twitter topic to say, girl, love yourself. Do the mirror work. Don't we always talk about mirror work? I can give us another one because, you know, I keep my quotes on deck, baby, because last time, I was like, I gave us a chant or whatever. Not a chant, but some mirror work quotes to say. And let me find, because I have them in here. Listen, I was like, let me get this stuff together because I just want my women to love themselves. Let me find one real quick. There's a lot on here. That's why I said I just want to find one that goes with what I'm talking about. And we could just say this one right here. I think that's the one I said last time. The one I said last time, because it's right here. I am worthy of love, success, and joy in all areas of my life. That's what I said last time. So you take that one and you continue to say that one. But we're going to add on another one. And we are going to say, I define my worth. And I am enough just as I am. I define my worth. Not a job, not a relative, not a significant other. You define your worth. And you are enough just as you are. That's the short-term memory. You define your worth. And you are enough just as you are. I define my worth and I am enough just as I am. Because it's true. I define who I am when I sit on this couch. I define who I am when I step outside this door. And I define who I am when I say, hi, my name is Bella. I would like to, moderate X, Y, and Z. I define my worth just as much as you define your worth. And you're enough just as you are. You put yourself together. I put myself together. I am enough for what I am doing. I am enough for how I present myself. And we can end it there because I've been rapping. I think we're going to end it there because I feel good about that, right? Like I feel good about our talk. I feel good about pouring into women. Oh, no. Let me end with this. I was speaking to one of my homegirls and I was like, I noticed something off in some topics when we were on Twitter. Now, mind you, a lot of the things that I talk about are going to come from social media because I have to be on social media all the time to be able to be hip, to be able to be on topic with trends, to be able to learn how to be in what spaces and what's going on, okay? So I saw that there were a few women kikiing with a gentleman, and this particular gentleman was being sassy to other women online. And when I say sassy, I'm like, why would you say something like that to a woman online? And why would these other women kiki with him when he's being sassy to other women? So I just wanted to say, it's bad enough that men think whatever they think about us as women. It's bad enough that, and I had to look this up the other day, that we make 78 to 84 cents to their dollar. It's bad enough that when men, black men specifically, were able to sit down and have a town hall and say, what would you like to see done? And they talked about child support. And this is the level of thinking of someone that you want to kiki with that's disrespecting women. And I just want women to do better. I want women to not search for and desire a love so bad and attention so bad from a man that they sit and giggle and kiki with a man that's being sassy to other women online. What you do in your group chat with your homegirls and you kiki, that's something totally different. Online, women should be one band, one sound. Don't disrespect women. Don't talk about women bad, you know. But it seems as though so many women, no matter what might come out of their mouth, yeah, their actions speak totally different about how they feel about other women and about how other women move. And that's how I'm going to end this particular episode, because that can be taken in so many different ways. But don't kiki with men in public. Don't be a loser. Don't be a loser. And so desperately needing attention that you kiki with sassy men online that are degrading and berating other women. Okay? If the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't, pass on the message by liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting on the video. And with that being said, guys, we have another episode wrapped of Cheaper Than Therapy, because I had a lot to get off my chest today, and I could keep going, but we're not going to keep going. We're going to keep this one short. Make sure you tune in every Thursday. There's no set. One day it'll be put out at the same time. Until that day, enjoy when it drops. I'm a one-person production. Like, I sit in front of the camera, I test it, do the lighting, I get up. Oh, that's not ladylike. Excuse me. I get up, I re-record, you know, I check all types of different things. But I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting me. If they do live stream the pageants, I will make sure everybody has a link. I'll make sure my people are there with, you know, some of my devices and live stream it. Maybe from YouTube, so we can get, you know, some live views there. All right, guys, because I could keep saying goodbye like I do in real life, but I just want to say again, thank you for all of your support, for everybody that's been here. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everything that you do in the beginning stages of seeing me transform from, you know, not even transform, mature into a new Bella. Because with maturity comes new opportunities. Okay? And yeah, y'all about to see it. So pay attention to my shorts. YouTube, shout out to you, because Shorts can now be 3 minutes, which helps me with my clothing reviews that I'll be doing just from like Fashion Nova and Amazon, where y'all can go find. Girl, I'm a two-piece mommy. Like, I'm not necessarily a fashion girly, but I know how to make stuff look good. Like, I sit on this couch and I look good, okay? This is an old set, honestly, from Olive Olay in Oxon Hill. I got this probably a couple years ago. This was a birthday outfit a couple years ago. It's a two-piece set. So with that being said, have a great week, everyone. Oh my goodness, I missed so many things that I could keep talking about. I'm gonna just throw some stuff in there, you know, get the car rants going. There's so many ideas that I have, but until next Thursday, peace. Love y'all.